Hello, Stampin' friends. This is Ray Henderson with Ray's Create Cards. I'm so glad you are here with me today. So I thought we would mix a little old and a little new, and the new being the Sending Smiles stamp set with the medium Daisy Punch. We've had this for a while, and it did carry over at least for one more year. It is in the new annual catalog. Once upon a time, we had a larger Daisy Punch along with the medium. They did retire the large one. Yours truly never ordered the large one because I was very content with the medium one. So we're going to bring that in today, and we're going to blend daisies with the Sending Smiles. And this was something that I was working on a little earlier today. Now by the time you see this video will be about a week old. But I have a very important appointment for next Friday. And in getting ready for that appointment, I wanted to make real sure I did have time to get a video created and uploaded and ready for you for Friday. So today is actually June the 10th, and by next Friday, we'll have already celebrated my birthday. Woohoo! I turn a big 65 years old on the 15th, and it's great. God has given me a good life, and I relish every birthday because that means God gave me another year, right? And we never know when we're going to have another year or not, right? We're not guaranteed that. So, onward and upward. So for today, we are going to start out with a white card base, traditional 8.5 by 5.5, and scored at 4 1/4. Okay, that is going to be our base. And I have taken a piece of the Hues of Happiness DSP. So this is one of the patterns in that pack of paper, and I almost hated to cut into it, but I'm loving the other side with that watercolor look and the ombre colors, one going into another. And I've not been using it, and I thought I really want to get that out and at least play with some of it. So I took a piece I had already cut into, and so what I have done here is I have cut 4 strips of that paper, and they are 1 inch in width, and they're 5 1/4 inches long. And probably the longest part of this card is actually going to be getting these strips laid down and laid down evenly. You know, when it comes to the world of temporary adhesives, Stampin' Up! Hasn't given us like a temporary adhesive tape runner. They are out there and they are available. What Stampin' Up! Did give us was Tombow. And a lot of you may not realize this, but Tombow, when you allow it to dry, it makes a wonderful temporary adhesive, and you may not know that. Now, what I could have done was, you know, before starting the video, I could have simply put a little bit of Tombow using the other end. I could have put me a little strip all the way down and let it dry, and then I would have something temporary adhesive to allow me to get these placed in place correctly. I did not do that either, and so what I'm simply going to do is take some Tombow temporary tape runner, and I'm going to put some on the back because it is going to allow me to just be able to kind of tack these down and kind of see how I am going for placement here. And so, you know, you use what you have, right? And I'm looking to see if I've got about the same margin on the bottom as I do on the top. I'm also looking to make sure I've got it straight. Okay, so far that looks okay. It may be just a little bit wider here on this end. Let's sketch that over just a bit. All right, and then I want to take this piece that's going to go on the outer edge, and I want to put some temporary adhesive. And of course, we all have our way of trying to figure out how we want to do our strips. And absolutely, you could cut these strips to be the whole 5.5 inch if that's what you wanted to do. And again, I'm looking across the bottom. May have to tweak this a little bit. Okay, maybe right about there. And let's take this one and I actually broke down and ordered here a little while back a thing of Stamping Seal Plus so that I could play with it. I'm still looking for it. It's still in its bag. I never did ever open the bag that it comes in, but I will try to make sure I can get that found and start using it on the videos. Okay, that has got some tweaking to be done. I'm liking my borders on either side. I'm not liking what I have in the middle, so we're going to peel this up and sketch that over a little closer. The borders in the middle will be a little skinnier, and I'm okay with that. This one here looks like it's leaning a little bit. Let's get that. Okay, I'm going to straighten this up. I'm looking at it. And it may not be perfect. Yours may not be perfect, but it's okay. It really is okay. So I'm going to bring this one up. And now we're going to put the permanent Tombow on here. I'm not using just a whole lot. Don't want a real thick line because their DSP is thinner. And we don't want the glue to be showing through. All right. Now it's down. I've used the permanent. No going back now, right? Okay, here we go. Yeah, I've had that Tombow temporary adhesive for some time. I ordered that. I probably ordered that thing a good 2 years ago. I don't find I need it that often. Now, let's see. Making sure I've got it straight from top to bottom. And there we go. This is actually the longest and hardest part of the card, guys. It really is. Once you've got this part done, it's all downhill. Okay, let's just get a little bit on here. Maybe a little bit right there on the end. Smooth that out. I think my glue bottle is getting almost empty. And I have noticed sometimes that when you start to get toward the end of a glue bottle, sometimes it'll gush out on you a little bit more than you want it to. Okay, come on, come on, come on. Get straight, get straight. There we go. Got it. Yeah, I just simply took and cut one really long strip off of that DSP, a 1-inch strip, and then started cutting my lengths. Okay, straight. Okay, I think that's gonna work. Yay. I'm always a little nervous. And it's like, I can do this when I'm by myself in my card room. When it comes time to take a video, maybe not all the time. Okay, so now I have pre-punched some daisies, and rather than do them tone on tone, like normally you'll die cut 2 so that you can offset the petals and make a pretty full flower. So I got to looking at the tones that were in here. So here is Fresh Freesia, here is Highland Heather, and maybe a hint of Gorgeous Grape. So I took Highland Heather and Fresh Freesia, and we're going to be putting those together in preparation for our card. So we're going to put a little bit of glue right there. And Let's get these lined up. I've got things I need to be getting done that I've been putting off doing just to make sure I can get this video done and uploaded for you guys. All right, so we have that one. And I followed suit with our yellow tones. We have Daffodil Delight and some crushed curry in here. So I did one in crushed curry and one in Daffodil Delight. And again, we're just going to layer those together. And if I can hold my mouth right and get my petals to where they need to be. And then we're going to set that one to the side. And I don't know, let me pick that back up. It's not quite as where I want that. Can I move it? May have already started setting up. You know, when Tombow gives you wiggle room, but if you put on a real thin layer of glue, it'll set up a lot faster and you won't have that wiggle room. So now here we have Blushing Bride and Melon Mambo. Going to put those together. But I thought this was a neat way to bring all of those little wonderful shades of watercolor out of that DSP and carry them over into the daisies. And yes, I do have bling that we're going to be putting in the middle of the daisies. All right, there we go. So we're going to lay these to the side for a minute because we do have a little bit of die cutting to do. And I am able to use the little mini me or small Stampin' Up! Cut and Emboss machine. And so I'm going to bring that in. And we are going to use the shadow die and the detail die for the word sending for the front of our card. So let me get kind of set up here. On the mini me, you do have your number 1. This is your base plate. It's not very thick, but it's a small machine. It's great for those little things that you need to do. It's great if you're going to be on the go and don't want to or have the room to lug around the big one, because it is a good hefty machine. And I know I prefer not having to lug it around if I don't have to. All right, so here is our detailed die. We're going to cut that out of basic black cardstock and send that through. I've never had to die cut anything more than once, even in the mini me, so it does an awesome job. All right, now I'm going to pick this up ever so carefully, and there's a reason for that. Yep, and I'm just going to lay it to the side, die and all, and you'll see why in a minute. If you don't have this set, you're missing out on such a wonderful, versatile set. I didn't have to incorporate the daisy punch in with this, but I did. Okay, the shadow die, or the layer that goes underneath the detail part, I'm going to do in basic white, and we're actually going to cut it twice. I really want a little extra layer on that sentiment just to kind of help it have a little bit of depth and dimension to it. And this one is just the outline, the shadow. And I'm going to take that out. Lay that to the side. We're going to do this one more time. One more time. I don't know how wide this scrap was. I just went and got into my white scraps, and I knew that was going to be wide enough and long enough to get 2 out of it. All right, hold on here. Here we go. So, yours truly is a coffee drinker. In fact, originally my channel was called Ray's Coffee and Cards. And as time went on, that kind of bothered me because, first of all, the word coffee was first and cards was second. And it's like, no, I really want the focus to be on cards. And another reason, not everybody is a coffee person, right? My husband is not. He does not drink coffee with me. He will make me a pot of coffee, but he does not drink coffee with me. He's a Pepsi person. And I have friends who like their teas and their herbal teas. And I have other people who like juice and on and on and on, right? Some people actually just prefer water, and that's good too. All right now, while I have got both of these, we're going to go ahead and just glue them together. And yours truly, I have been known to do 3 layers. I have. But so, you know, for a lot of years, I put a little sugar in my coffee. And I did that for years and years. Well, a couple of years ago, I stopped enjoying having sugar in my coffee. It didn't matter how little I tried to put in there, it just tasted too sweet to me. So I quit. And at that point, I had also started occasionally buying some vanilla creamer. And so I was putting vanilla creamer in there along with a little bit of sugar. The vanilla creamer had sugar in it, and it was just too much. Well, here lately, every now and then I decided I wanted to occasionally have just a little bit of sugar and cream in my coffee again, because it, you know, been quite a while. So I bought some creamer here the other day. I honestly don't know how to define the other day to you. Yesterday, I noticed it was still sitting in my fridge, and I thought, yeah, let's have a cup of coffee with some cream. I went to pour that in a fresh brewed cup of coffee, and it poured like white glue. You would have thought I was pouring Tombow or Elmer's glue into my coffee, and I'm going, oops, I think it's been in my fridge a little too long. But it was funny. I don't know. I thought it was funny. All right, so now we are going to go ahead and take this out. Do you see how easy that came out? Look at that. I mean, it cuts like a dream. Okay. Now, this scrap will go in the trash. Now, still in my die, and the reason why I was so careful to lay that to the side, do you see where my little dot is for my eye? We want that. We don't want that to go anywhere. Now, you have a couple of options when it comes to keeping all that together. You can take a piece of press and seal and lay over it, and then it would lift it up for easy access for you. You could use a little bit of washi tape or anything like that that would have a little bit of stick. I don't have an issue with just being really careful and making sure it doesn't go anywhere. So let's go ahead and get ready to put the detailed part on our shadow die. And I don't feel the need to just put glue everywhere. I really don't. Just going to put just enough on here so that it will hold it down, not be gushy, not make a mess. Tombow glue is sticky. We don't like those sticky messes. And once you get it on your fingers, if you don't have hand sanitizer or something close by, and I've explained to y'all how I don't like using hand sanitizer. You know, during COVID and everything, I would watch children come into the store, and the first thing they ran to was a hand sanitizer because that's what they had been taught. And I thought, oh my heavens, I wonder how many times a day those children are using that hand sanitizer, and what is it doing to their microbiome? All right, let's see if we can't get this situated. I'm starting probably on the wrong end. I'm starting on the back end and going forward if I can. All right, we're getting there. We are getting there. And getting there. It's not hard to do. You just kind of have to be patient. Kind of hold your mouth right. We all know how to do that when we need to, right? I want my S up there a little bit more. There we go. There we go. And now at this point, it's fairly obvious we really do need that little black dot. And so, my Take Your Pick tool, I don't know what I would do without this. I really don't. The fact that we have that putty end is awesome and amazing. I didn't get that out. Let me see if I can get that out in the palm of my hand. It's so tiny. And I don't want to lose it. And I've lost it. Where'd it go? Ah, here it is. On the other end of the Take Your Pick tool, we have this awesome putty end that will pick up those tiny little pieces. And we're going to put just a little bit of glue. Not much, just a little. And then we're going to take our little eye. I need to see which side is up. Okay. Yep. I need to pick it right side up so that it goes wrong side down. And lay that in there. It's tiny. And another alternative, you know, if you're doing this, if you have this set and you absolutely lose that little tiny dot, no worries. Take some bling and pop it on there. You could put a colored pearl. In any of the bling that we have would be really cute, and it would actually accent that. Now I'm going to take my dies. I'm going to lay them in my magnetic tray because I don't want those to get lost before we put those away. All right, so now we have our sending, and now we can kind of start to put this card together. Let's bring this back in. And first I wanted to place our daisies. And so I am debating on whether or not to pop them up with the dimensionals. What do you think? Should we pop them up and give them a little bit of height? Maybe? Let's try it. I have not already made one of these. This was just something that I got thinking about, and I thought, yeah, that might make a cute card. And so as I started cutting out some of these pieces, I realized that, yes, this actually would make a really cute card. So, all right. This is not one of those cards you would do for mass producing. You know, if you needed like a dozen thank you cards or thinking of you cards or anything like that, this is not the design for that. But we all enjoy going a little bit more than basic sometimes, and this card definitely fits that bill. However, it is not so hard to do that you would struggle or spend an inordinate amount of time to get it done. All right, here is our sending, and I am simply going to place that in there at an angle. It doesn't have to be straight. And on this, yes, I'm just going to glue that down directly to the card. And I'm more concerned about little bits of glue around some of your edges and the parts that kind of stick up in a way. So that's good there. And we're going to put that right there. And I thought that touch of black, even though there's no black anywhere else on the card, I thought that was really cute. I thought it made the whole card just kind of pop a little bit. All right. Now, for the bling in the middle of the flowers, I am so happy these carried over to the new annual catalog. They are called Loose Flower Flourishes. And there are, I think, like 3 colors in here. Let me be careful. All right, so we do have a pink. And I'm thinking this is actually a polished pink. But nevertheless, it blends in, I felt like, with the pinks, because you have all the different tones. And so I'm okay with using that. And we're just going to put a little bit of glue on here. And then take and, might want to put just a little bit more. There we go. And then I'll plop it right in the middle. There we go. I'll hold that for just a second. Oh no, my putty came off. That's okay. I'll retrieve that in a minute. I'll take that off of there in a second. Let's let that glue set up first. Well, that's kind of funny. All right, and then we have these that I am calling fresh freesia. Maybe they are, maybe they're not. But again, I thought that tone blended in just fine. Make sure that's in the middle. Just kind of give that a second. That is really bugging me, but I don't know if that glue has had a chance to set up yet or not. So, it not. All right, there we go. Okay, now I'm happier. That was funny. All right, and then these are pale papaya. They're not really yellow, but again, I just felt like it was okay to use with the Daffodil Delight and the crushed curry. It's a little bit different in tone, but not so different, and I think it complements it. Now, you may have a totally different opinion, and if you do, that's fine, not a problem. But none of the other bling that I was going through to see about using, it just wasn't right. Now, I love my champagne rhinestones. I'm grateful that we have those. I'm so glad they carried over. And they are the perfect thing for a lot of cards, but not for this one. And I really didn't want to use the white pearls either, although I could have. But yeah, I think these will work. This is still setting up, so I'm just going to carefully slide it over to the side, out of the way. And we are going to start on the inside of the card. So, on the inside of the card, I have cut a layer of Daffodil Delight that is 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. And we are going to lay a piece of our basic white that is 4 by 5 1/4. So we're going to go ahead and mat these together real quick. I could have used any number of colors from the strips on the front of the card. I could have used Highland Heather, Fresh Freesia, Daffodil Delight, Crushed Curry, Granny Apple Green, Balmy Blue, any of that I could have used. But I thought, you know, the front of the card is bright, but I didn't want bright inside the card. And so I felt like the Daffodil Delight was a happy medium. And in the Sending Smiles, actually it's in with the dies for that set. There are 2 sentiment strips. And so again, I've cut some extra layers, which we won't end up needing, because originally I thought about putting the rest of the sentiment on the front of the card, and then I thought, you know what, I really don't need to put that on the front of the card. I'm going to put it on the inside. So I took that small sentiment die that is in that set, and I simply stamped from Sending Smiles a card to say hello. And again, I used a piece of that watercolor paper. And I thought, well, that's kind of cute, and that carries the outside of the card to the inside of the card. We've had Daisy stamp stamp sets in the past. The latest one was Daisy Lane. I have kept that in my collection, but it's not orderable anymore, and I didn't want to use or do anything that you guys couldn't also use if you decide to replicate this card. So I think that looks pretty good. I think it's festive, it's readable, it's really cute. Okay, let's put this to the inside of the card. And then I think, guys, this is a wrap for For all of you who have been following me and liking my videos and commenting and subscribing, thank you, thank you. I can't thank you enough. You guys are really helping me out, and I appreciate you so, so much. All right, we're going to get this layered in here, and I think I'm straight. All right, borders are good. And somewhere along the way, I think when I mess with black cardstock, I seem to get little black fuzzies everywhere. But at least it's not a mess. All right, guys, so what do you think about mixing Sending Smiles with our medium daisy punch? And I didn't say anything. I did cut out of a piece of scrap and I glued it on there, and I'm learning that's a good habit for me to get into with my punches, because we have that almost a mirror finish here on the top, and that can really put a glare on videos. And I fight that glare enough as it is with my lighting. Guys, I hope you decide to replicate this card, and if you do, I would love to see photos of what you do. You can hop on over to Facebook and find my group called Heartful Stampers. I have it available to the public, and you can absolutely join in, upload photos of your creations, and you know, the more the merrier, right? So I love the idea of having a community of fellow stampers who are also fellow friends, and we can help support each other and give each other inspiration, can't we? All right, guys, y'all have a very, very blessed rest of your weekend. I am doing Facebook Live videos on my Facebook business page as Ray Henderson, 3 o'clock on Saturday afternoons, and that's 3 o'clock Eastern Time. And I'm gearing up to do a live tomorrow as I film this. All right, guys, have a great time. Be blessed. Stay safe. And I will talk to you later. Bye.